Hi, welcome to Go Clyde Productions. Today I want to share with you about mountaintop experiences with God, those times when we feel His presence so strongly. Anyways, I just want to say this. Ask you, have you ever had one of those mountaintop experiences with God where you could feel His presence and peace all around you? Then shortly thereafter, you go back to the trials and challenges awaiting you, and you begin to feel that beautiful peace that you've experienced slipping away. This poem, Mountaintop, is related to the story that Jesus told about the Good Samaritan. When Jesus talked about loving your neighbor, He meant everyone you meet from every tribe and nation. Jesus leaves no room for racial prejudice or oppression. We are commanded to love one another. So this is Mountaintop. I've been to the mountaintop. I sat high upon its ridge. I reached out and touched your hand, and you touched my heart with a peace I've never known. Such love I cannot explain. As you caressed me with your gentle spirit of love, my tears fell like soft rain. The sky blue, the evergreen, and the soft breeze that dried my tears I will never forget. As I started down the mountain, I know that you were with me and in me. I would take you with me to the valley below and share my joy and afterglow. As I departed, I'd forgotten the terrain was so rugged. I'd worked hard and long to climb this mountain peak with a relentless effort, and now I was sliding in the rock and dust. I slipped and fell and wounded my knee. I cursed the rock that jumped out at me. Darkness was falling, and there was a bitter chill in the air. I'd made no provision for my care. This isn't right. It's just not fair, I shouted. As I continued to stumble and slide down the rocky mountain, a storm did arise. Now I was cold and wet. Isn't God finished with me yet? I scowled as I trudged my way through the mud. I slipped and hit my head upon a rock. When I awakened, the dawn had broken, and the rising sun was bright. I was warm and dry. A blanket covered me, and I lay by a fireside. Confused, I jumped up in fright. Sitting on the other side, a man sipping coffee chuckled with delight. Sit down, my friend. I'm glad to see that you're all right. What happened? Who are you? I quizzed. I came from the mountaintop and saw you lying amongst the rocks. So I dried you off, bandaged your wounds, and here we are. Now have a hot drink and some fresh bread and fried fish. I took the cup and plate from his hands and gladly began to eat and drink. I looked closely at him. He was from the bad side of town. I could tell by his accent and the clothes that he wore. I must be careful. You can't trust these people. But why? Why would he take time to care for me? I was puzzled. I didn't see you on the mountaintop, I said. He was silent for a few seconds. Then he looked me straight in the eyes. Finally, he said, "Oh, but I saw you." Then he said, "This food may not be heavenly, but it will suffice for you and me." "Funny you should say that," I replied, "for heaven is what I went to see." "And what did you find?" "While I was on the mountaintop, I felt a beautiful peace and a calm assurance. I prayed, and I thought God was with me." "He was," said the man, as he pointed to the mountain. I turned and looked at the mountain. It was beautiful in the morning light as the soft white clouds hovered above it. And when I turned back to speak, the man was gone. Puzzled, I looked around, but he was nowhere to be found. He had simply vanished. And there on the rock where he had been sitting was a note. All it said was, "Peace be with you." Remember to welcome strangers, because some who have done this have welcomed angels without knowing it. Hebrews 13:2. And I suggest that you read the parable of the Good Samaritan and also the story of the woman at the well. The parable of the Good Samaritan is in Luke chapter 10, verses 25 through 37. And the story of the woman at the well is John chapter 4, verses 4 through 30. Thanks for being with us today. God bless you. Have a great day.